Hello and welcome to another episode of the Electric Norwegian. I'm Mats. Today we're in a Kia EV6, the Kia's Hyundai Ioniq 5 sibling, if you want. I've driven the Ioniq 5 a few times. I haven't gotten around to make a video of it simply because, well, it just hasn't been. I haven't had time, and it's borrowed the car and all that stuff. You can look at this as the kind of a combination of the two. I mean, basically it's the same car in another, with small differences in exterior and interior, and also in the chassis setup and so on and so on. The noise levels in this car is pretty alright. I mean, they're the same almost regardless if you're doing 50 kilometers an hour or 130 kilometers an hour. So in that sense it's good. But I must say, I do think the consumption is a little bit high, at least if you consider the previous generation of EVs from Kia Hyundai, the e-Niro then used that as that would not run 167 watt-hours per kilometer now. Speaking of, that's an Ioniq. So yeah, and this is on a dedicated EV platform, no less. But hey, apart from that, it's a very nice car. It's a bit stiff sprung over small uneven surfaces like bridge joints and manhole covers and stuff, but that, you know, it's not a big problem. I run it in e-pedal mode simply because that's the best way to do it. At least I think so. You can do what you want. The region is very good, very evenly distributed, easy to use. And the car estimates, we're now at 49%. Car estimates 192 kilometers. So this loop, as we know, is around 170 kilometers. So we're gonna do fine. I'm thinking of not doing the entire thing though. I'm gonna do almost the entire thing, and then stop at Untitled and charge there, and see if we can get some proper speeds of this thing, which should then be at 49 now. Around somewhere between 15 and 10%, so we should get decent speeds. I'm looking forward to test it, if nothing else. We're half an hour in now. Driven 27.4 kilometers. Yeah, the climate is on auto. Of course, it's on 22 degrees this time, simply because I thought 20 degrees was a little bit cold. Don't know why. And I'm very glad this car has a head-up display. I'm not sure you can see it, probably not. Simply because with the steering wheel in this position, I can't see my speed. I can see the center trip computer, fine, but not the speed, nor the estimated range left. I can see my battery percentage, that's really fine. But that's what you get when you have a central instrument cluster sometimes. It's been true for years, so it's nothing new there. The head-up display is very nice, by the way. So far it's been on country roads, so the speeds are low. We're averaging 166 watt-hours per kilometer. It estimates 164 kilometers left of range. The cruise control on this car, the adaptive cruise control is okay. The lane keep though is rubbish. It's just crap. It doesn't work. It doesn't do anything. It just ping pongs you between lines and then beeps at you. That's all it does. It's no. I mean, Tesla's had autopilot now for a long time, and there is other systems that could have handled this a lot better. Kia just haven't been bothered, which is a bit sad. It's seems to me that we range-wise should do this trip just fine, even though we started from just half a battery. But you know, that's, as I said when I tested the Fiat 500 earlier this year, things have happened in the world, and you get decent range now from almost anything after all. It is 4 degrees outside, so it's sort of, as you can see from the mist from time to time, now it's getting, winter is indeed around. We had was frost this night, so let's weigh this thing, shall we? Yeah, I have no idea how much this thing weighs. Let's see. Is there a car on there? I think so. I mean, no. I think the thing's working. Go through the interior. This is about my height of my head, and as you can see, well, you can't really see the numbers down there, can you? Not very well. And it works, but I wish I had the steering wheel a little bit closer to me. But hey, it's not a big problem. Long legs. Screen, very nice screen. I like it a lot. The only thing I don't like is that it's a little bit too far away. You have to sort of stretch to reach everything. But I'm sure you get used to it after all. Same thing goes for the controllers here. It's a little bit, I just leave everything on auto. I turn it off auto now simply because, well, yeah, they have been around the car, and then the fan speed was so high. We have a lot of space down here though. Lots of space. And deep room down here. Cup holders and a little room there. And the interior, the ambient interior lighting here is really nice. Really nice indeed. I'm sure you can change the color of it. And they have the shape of the seat itself. This ET kind of thing. Cool. And overall the materials here, apart from that terrible piano black crap that the car industry is doing, apart from Tesla. This is, yeah, but you know, it's a nice place. You sit here, we have everything at hand, except these are a little bit too far away maybe, but it is what it is. It looks nice. Stop turning on. This is okay. It's better quality this than it was in the iX3, which was abysmally terribly awful. Buttons here are nice to use. The voice control is worthless because it can't do anything. Driver mode selector is down here. Doesn't do very much. Eco just is boring. Normal is okay. Sport is okay. The rotary dial is, it's a rotary dial. It's like any other car. Yeah, you can actually throw this thing around. So, but like I was saying, normally when you floor it on the motorway, for instance, well, the traction control kicks in almost constantly, and it's sort of, there's nothing wrong with that. That's a good thing. The systems work, but it doesn't feel like in the Tesla, for instance, it doesn't feel quite as sure-footed somehow. And this is of course on softer winter tires, and I'm aware of that, but still it feels a little bit excessive. Sure, the traction control of the Tesla kicks in as well, but not in the same way, and not for as long. It kicks in maybe in the beginning if you kick it out of an intersection or something like that, and then after that it allows you, it finds grip, and then it's not a problem, and then it has the grip it needs to keep going. This one doesn't. We're at 40%, by the way. It estimates, what does it estimate? 149 kilometers left. I think it'll be fine. Now you can see the screen there though, 72 kilowatt, now 73. It's ramping up. So yeah, it's looking nice. I'm gonna stay here a little bit, and then we are, yeah, check the tires. There's knock-on tires on this car, which sort of explains why they're so soft. But even so, well, at least we know the traction control system works very well indeed. 77. Yes, unlike a lot of other cars, this car actually, yeah, the charging gets faster the further, when you're standing, instead of just ramping down, it ramps up. But that X3 did some of the same thing. And also the Ford, which means that they have thermally controlled batteries, so you can raise the temperature of them and you can lower it, and it all works as intended. It doesn't preheat though, which is a bit sad, because it's just so much nicer if the car does all of this for you. What if I try and search, for instance, Ioniq. It doesn't even exist. So it should come up there. Are we doing 80? Getting 80 kilowatt? Nah, sorry. Now there they are. All of them. So they exist, it's just not. What happens if I put on one? Nothing. Well, we've been in now for, as you can see, 12 minutes. We're getting 128 kilowatt. I'm not normally the one who screams most about charge speeds, but getting about a third of the promised charge speeds after our hour and a half of driving, and that's not impressive, is it? Oh well. Ambient lighting in here. It's just purple. Everything. And it looks really good. Particularly these little things here. It's really so subtle and nicely done everywhere without being in any way, sense of form in a way. It now says it estimates here, let's see, 13 kilowatts in and 42 minutes to 100%, which means that, I mean, I could done this thing in an Audi e-tron, Q4 e-tron, and it would have been just as fast and just as comfortable. While you look at that, I can come with some. This is a Kia EV6 with a 77.4 kilowatt hour battery pack. It's an exclusive. Sounds expensive. It's a rear wheel drive. That's a single motor for you. 228 horsepower only, so less power than a lot less power than the Tesla. At least 100 horses down, and it still goes traction control crazy like that. That's not particularly inspiring, is it? And the mad four-wheel drive GT variant with 585 horses comes next year, in about a year's time. The four-wheel drive has 225 horses, which is about the same as my Tesla has, I think. Except that that one has rear-wheel drive, so it should grip a little bit better. And then you have the GT variant with almost 600. It has 170 millimeters of ground clearance, which is actually very nice, because I noticed when I step out of the car, the height from the car to the ground it's nice. It feels okay. You're sort of stepping out of the car in a very nice height. And it has 511 liters of trunk, which, you know, it's not bad. It's just, I don't know, it looks a little bit small. And it can tow 1600 kilos, which is decent indeed. 11 kilowatt of onboard charging, and it can peak at 339 kilowatts, which is not what we're getting now. And we're getting 151 now, look, at 44%. So it's very inconsequential, this thing here. It sort of comes and goes. And I don't know, I mean, give me an e-tron, a fat e-tron with a flat charge curve instead. Or something like this. We've been on there for 15 minutes. My Tesla would have been at, probably been at 50% already. And close, getting on to 60%. So, yeah, I don't know. This thing costs, I'm not entirely certain what this thing's cost. So this 400 onwards. So it's more expensive. Less power, but it's very quiet and comfortable in here though. It's a very, very nice car indeed. And we've proven that we've done almost all the test route. So you can get 300 kilometers easy out of this car, probably more as well. Should be getting close to 400 or anything in between. This is good pluses, and look, this is the lights now. This is the low beam, and that's the high beam. And then we can see the difference. There's no spread on it, it's just a beam straight ahead. It's just useless. And this is a brand new car, and it's what would I say, what this was exclusive or whatever it was. This, I'm sorry, but why in the name of all that's holy can't the Asian manufacturers produce cars with proper headlights? Oh, cat. See, I didn't see the cat there, but I hadn't. It's just sad, because this is a really, really wonderful thing to drive. It's quiet, there's no rattles in this thing. No rattles, no bumps, nothing. It's a sweet driving thing. That's what this is. Good morning. It's time to return the car now, so try to sum it up. I spent quite a few hours in it. And as a place to spend your time, this is a really comfortable, quiet place to be. But it has a few, the sound system is decent in here. It has a few strange shortcomings though. I mean, the touch buttons below the screen where you control the media and stuff, sometimes you're stretching over to reach them, and you touch one of the buttons on the panel below with the heated steering wheel and so on, and you have to fiddle with that. And since both of these panels are touch panels and not buttons, and they turn on things like heated and cooled seats and all of that stuff, then it would be much better to put it on a screen in front of you, because at least then you know where they are and you can see them and they're easily accessible. They're not difficult to access them now, but if you're gonna put anything on a function and you're gonna use your fingertips to activate them, separate of the screen, you might as well make it a physical button, in my mind. Or give it a voice control system that can activate it for you. This car can't. It can't do anything with the voice control except for calling people. Barely even that. The luggage compartment is, I mean, the car is beautifully sculpted. I really do like the shooting brake design of this thing, but because of that, the luggage compartment is slightly shallow, so it doesn't. See, traction control kicked in there, so you can't really fit much more than a few bags of your shopping, and there really is no frunk. I mean, the Hyundai Ioniq 5, which is this car's brother, has a frunk. I know it's rather small on the all-wheel drivers, but it's still there. And the seat, the bench on the rear, in the rear is very low, so you sit like with your knees around your neck. It's even worse than in an old Tesla Model S, which got a lot of flack for the same thing. Now, of course, does this ruin the car? No, far from it. In fact, I really enjoyed my time in this car. The more time I spend with it as a driving tool, the more I like it. And it looks great. It has this wonderful interior lighting, as I mentioned. But the lights are truly atrociously bad on it. I mean, really bad. They have no right to be in a modern car, which is sad. I found the price, 470,000 it is for this car. Norwegian corner, it's around 47,000 euros if we're gonna convert the 1-to-1, which I'm sure isn't correct. That's a really strange thing with the traction control system, as I tried to tell you yesterday. No, doing 53, right? No, I couldn't. If you're doing it around 50-60 kilometers an hour and you floor it, it's kind of like this whole car lurches forward, and then traction control kicks in, and it's kind of, and then it doesn't happen in low speeds, and then on the motorway it's like, now you kick it and it just blinks and blinks and blinks, and you're doing. It sometimes feels like the traction control system isn't calibrated to keep up with the electric motor. It's really strange sensation. I never had this in any other car. And both the Mustang, the Mercedes, no, not the Mercedes, BMW, ID3 Series, and my own Tesla, they're all rear-wheel drive, and none of them have this behavior. Sure, you can activate or provoke traction control to kick in for a short moment, and then you regain traction. I don't know, but it could be that these Nokia and Hakka tires are so new that they haven't been run in yet, but still, it shouldn't behave this strangely. I really know. So this is a car of two halves. It's wonderful to drive, very quiet, slightly sporty. It's very, yeah. And it has a decent sound system, but there's not that much luggage space in it, and as a family car, it's slightly, well, depending on how many kids you have, it's slightly compromised. But if you want a really cool car that's comfortable, you know, then this is the car for you. Then you have the charging, of course. This car's big selling point. Well, Kia Hyundai's big selling point. It just disappoints. There's no preheat in it. There's nothing to, and it just doesn't really. See. That was just slight power out of a roundabout. I know I'm slightly disappointed of this car because it looks so good and it's so good, so comfortable in here and relatively quiet, and it's a really nice, and there's so much that's so right with it. It's spacious in the front here, good seats, all of that stuff, and yet it falls short on simple things like having a proper, I mean, they haven't updated the navigation system in the last 5 years. It's exactly the same thing that I had on my Kia Soul, which is no, just not good enough. I'm sorry, but it isn't. And they still haven't sorted out over their update. They say they're gonna come with it at some point. Well, Volvo just released their preheat functions, and you know, it's not that difficult. It really shouldn't be that difficult. But this is nitpicking. I'm just trying to tell you that the car is wonderful, but it has its faults. Range-wise, it's perfectly alright. It does somewhere between 300 and 400 kilometers probably. But it just, at the price point, it has a lot of competitors and they do a lot of things better than this. But again, cars are subjective, and if you want a shooting brake and you're very fond of Kia Hyundai and you know them in and out, then this will suit you perfectly well. It's one of the most exciting car designs I've seen in a long time. Very comfortable place to be. Has enough power. It has about 225 or something. This rear-wheel drive version. Then you can also have it with four-wheel drive. Then I'm sure a lot of this strange on-road behavior will go away. The consumption numbers, they are what they are, a little bit high, but most of the time that's not a problem because you charge when you charge, and you know, it's not really an issue. It's the same with Jaguar. It doesn't really matter as long as the car does what you need it to do when you need it to do it, after all. A big thanks to Bertelsen and Moss for lending me the car. And a big thanks to all of you watching. So then please like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you in the next one. Take care, everybody. Bye bye.